Well, thank you for being here, first of all.
Right.
Thank you for answering some questions. First of all, how are you experiencing the whole event here in Oslo so far?
Very good. Great collection of people. Nice, diverse subjects. Very good. Enjoying it. I mean, lectures are one thing, but collections of people are another. And so actually getting everyone together is as important as having the lectures.
Very true. Very true, very true. As you can see here, these days we have a lot of young people, young professionals as well. As one of the more older guys who've been doing this for a long time, how do you experience this change? Suddenly, all of these young people.
Fantastic. I mean, it's a cliche, but in the end, the future is with young people. And I've spent, 40, 50 years of my life feeling somewhat isolated. And so to see, and I'm witnessing this actually, in Britain as well in Europe and America, seeing more and more young people is fantastic. It's how it should be. And I'm incredibly encouraged by it.
If there's any young people, young professional students watching right now, and they're kind of struggling with teachers, with not being able to express themselves the way they want, what would your advice be to them?
Well, fortunately, there is now quite a body of organizations like this. So the first thing is to join those, and they will find fellow people. But the other thing is don't give up. Keep going. Stick to it. Don't be bullied. I mean, in a very long time ago, in the 1970s, 72 to be precise, my college tried to fail me. And they didn't. They couldn't. So it's been going on for a long time. But I think the other thing that's happening in some universities is students can be strong if they operate together. Don't forget, I was partly a product of 1968 when the students occupied the buildings, but that was for a different political issue. But in the end, if students get together and insist on something, it's very difficult for the staff to resist it. So keep at it, join together, and don't be bullied.
Sounds good. What is your outlook in general on the future of the whole architecture and urban design scene? Like what do you think in like 10 or 20 years? How is it going to look? Totally different or?
Well, one thing, it'll be different. I mean, that I can be absolutely sure. The answer is I don't know. I see things are starting to happen, as we just discussed, and hopefully it'll carry on. If it carries on at this rate, it will become significant. I think it's a complex issue. When we started in BUA and all of these other organizations, what we wanted was to use the phrase, a place at the table. I think we do now have a place at the table, so we've got to move beyond that. And although there's something very visceral in a lot of architects who've been architectural administrators and so on, who've been through the system, who by the being of your time means being completely different and so on, which is very deep-rooted. People are just having to become more tolerant. The other thing I would say, I want to make this point very strongly, I spent my career engaging with modernist architects and mainstream architects. They're personal friends. So shouting at people and telling them they're idiots is not really a very good idea. And so it's much more difficult to insult a friend than it is to insult an idea. So you're going to be much more successful if you engage with the profession and say, we're part of the profession too, we have a place, and you're much more likely to succeed. The other really, really strong thing is the public. It's very difficult for any architect to say, I know the public don't like this, but I'm going to do it. They do say that. Morally, that's extremely difficult. Of course, there is the claim that, oh, well, they'll get to like it. Well, I'm sorry, they've been doing it for 100 years. They haven't got to like it yet. So, and this is becoming more and more important. The involvement of the public, the democratic involvement of the public, it's manipulated quite a lot. There's a lot of manipulation goes on, a lot of vague language. Put buildings out to vote. People are not stupid. The public is not stupid. And that's our greatest strength, because we know that we're doing something. Everything tells us we're doing something that people want. And why would you do anything else? I was involved in a competition where it went out to a vote, and my building got 90% of the vote. I then had to go to an architectural panel, and I said to them, look, the only reason I'm here is because everybody wants this. There was no answer to that. So our great strength is, after all, we are serving the public. And the public are not stupid, and you must not insult or patronize the public. And that's our great strength.
Well, those are some very great thoughts. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, thanks for asking.
No problem.